Placid. Okay, so this is the moment when they get themselves into position. They're laying down their skis. They'll be clipping in the bindings. We start this race with Rebenyuk, and also keep an eye out for Matej Fadrons of the Czech Republic. He impressed and was amongst the leaders for most of that. So the men's 10-kilometre mass start gets underway in the Nordic combined here at Lake Placid.
These athletes are all over each other, trying to make some separation early.
And you can see just how close they are. The tram lines have now given way to open track. They just want to make sure that they don't catch a ski or trip over anybody else's as they make their way up the very early descent here. Straight down at speed. Got to be careful not to make an early mistake, not to let your skis slip away and then find yourself in trouble and on the floor at the back of the group. So it's an early lead for Aidan Ripp of the USA, known to be a really fast skier. Mazurchuk of Ukraine also in the mix. And so it looks to me like Aidan Ripp is sort of aiming to try and break away and build as much distance from himself and the rest as possible. Remember, every minute you finish ahead of your opponent is worth 15 points before you've even started on that ski jump. So Aidan Ripp out in front and already beginning to build a lead. We've got a faller. He recovers, but that's lost him at least 5 or 6 places, and it's going to be a struggle for that athlete to get back. I think it was Takuya Nakazawa of Japan. So a clear strategy then from Aidan Ripp, and that is to get as far ahead as possible. The 21-year-old captain of Lake Placid's Paul Smith's College Nordic team, looking to break into the USA Olympic team and qualify for the Olympic Games. But that's all a long way in the future. His focus now is to try and gain as much time as possible and then hold on to it, and that's the difficult part. Yamanaka of Japan with the 19 bib. Didn't have the best of events in the individual Gunderson. Right, well, we've got 2 checkpoints on each lap. One is at 1.4K, and then the next one is at 2.1, which is just before they come back into the stadium. And so we've reached that first checkpoint, and Ripp is ahead, but what's his advantage? 7.2 from his teammate Malasinski. When we come to the second checkpoint, it'll give us a good idea of how steady he's managing to go. 4 laps, remember, of this 2.5 kilometre track. Total of 10K. Carefully does it around the hairpin bend. Getting the times now on the competitors at the rear, and at that first checkpoint there's about 30 seconds, 35 seconds between first and last is Shumbarets of Ukraine at the moment. So Nichols closing in on Rick now. His advantage has been cut to the point where I'd say he's hardly got an advantage anymore. Nakazawa of Japan back in the hunt, making his way up to the top of the slope. So a bit of a game going on now with the Americans. Malasinski and Nichols have moved into the front as they come into the stadium to complete the first of 4 laps. Rip out in front, where he has been from the start as he approaches the end of the first lap. It's a USA 1-2-3, Malasinski and Nichols right behind him. And that's exactly where they want to be. They know the Japanese have some really strong ski jumpers, so they want to try and build their advantage ahead of this evening's ski jumping. And it looks like it's up to Nakazawa to try and close that gap, and Kodate is with him as well. And the two will work together to try and close the separation on the Americans. Mate Fadrons of the Czech Republic struggling in this race. He's almost a minute behind now at the back of the field. Bit of a surprise. He did well in the individual Gundersen cross country. Same distance, same track. 6 seconds separation now between the Americans and the chasing Japanese. A strategy obviously coming into play here now with the 3 Americans. I would expect supporting each other. And what we have to wait for now is to see when they break for their own individual purpose. Bring you up to date that Rasmus Atava of Finland didn't actually start this race. He didn't manage to start this race, which is a shame because it's his last race of the competition. Focus now on this leading bunch of 3 Americans. Then right behind them, breathing down their necks, are the 2 Japanese athletes and Henry Johnston, the other American. Malasinski and Nichols, the 2 and the number 4, battled through the whole of this cross-country race on Friday in the Gundersen. And Nichols led for much of it, or led that chasing bunch for much of it, I should say, before missing out to medal and to watch Malasinski go ahead to take silver. But our bronze medalist that day was not able to start this race. Rasmus Atava of Finland. reached the first checkpoint of the second lap. There you can see the separations, but how far back is it to the Japanese chasers? It's only 16 seconds or so. Very early days in this race as Malasinski begins to brake. He looks over his shoulder. Where have they gone, he wonders. It would have been very interesting to be a fly on the wall of the briefing room, the American briefing room, before they went out, to hear what their strategy was going to be, to hear what the coaches had come up with. Here we've got second and third. Evan Nichols of the USA. They're being led by this man, Malasinski, from Colorado, but half Finnish, so spent half his youth in Finland, and that's where he learned his Nordic combined skills. Here comes Nichols. This is his home. He knows this track extremely well, does Evan Nichols, as the leader comes downhill at speed towards the stadium. Number 2. Nicholas Malasinski out in front, approaching the halfway stage now, representing Colorado Mountain College, and he's shown real poise and confidence at these first Winter University Games, for him anyway. So Malasinski passes the halfway stage, and what is the separation to Evan Nichols? It's 16 seconds at the end of the second lap, followed closely by Rip. But look at the Japanese, they have closed the gap on the American leaders, Nakazawa and Kodate of Japan.
So Malasinski building up quite a lead. He's got a comfortable.
So Malasinski building up that lead, but can he hold on to it? It's 16 seconds. And looking back to where Takazawa was, 22 seconds. So it's certainly not an insurmountable lead. He's got to keep going, but he's out on his own, and that doesn't make it easy, does it? Psychologically, he's constantly having to look over his shoulder to see where his opponents are. It's a long way from the stadium to the first checkpoint, and then 2 short sections from the first checkpoint to the second, and then 2 back into the stadium. And that shot gives us a really good idea of the gap between them. Malasinski going so well. Back with the leader. Malasinski. He was telling us that his fondest memory of his sport is his Youth Olympic Games a couple of years ago. He said it was just the most fantastic experience finished out of the medals, but that wasn't the point. The point was the atmosphere and the challenge and the camaraderie amongst the athletes, and that's really spurred him on to set his sights on the Olympic Games. Evan Nichols now coming up to the camera in second place, representing Community College of Vermont. Twice junior national champion. Number 9, Takuya Nakazawa, spearheading the Japanese fight back. He's still got time to do it. Two laps completed. Plenty of time still for the Japanese to come back. You can see just how steep and awkward this climb is, especially at this point in the race. Total climb of 87 meters each lap. So we've reached that second checkpoint of the lap. And look at that separation, almost 30 seconds between first and second. So Malasinski going really well, really strongly. And he knows he has to, because he put in a good jump in the individual Gunderson, but it was some distance off the leading bunch. So the leading 3, then comes Johnston, another American. Ritt is also in the mix. So the top 5 has 4 Americans and a Japanese, Nakazawa sitting 3rd. Malasinski reaches the 7.1 kilometer stage. The time difference at the previous checkpoint was 29.2 seconds. What's it going to be this time? Has he grown his lead? He has. It's over 30 seconds now on Evan Nichols. It's about 400 meters from that checkpoint to the end of the lap inside the stadium. And you can hear the cowbells and the crowd roaring on their homeboy.
Looks absolutely phenomenal as he comes in here for the lap.
Looking really strong coming into the stadium for the final lap.
He's confident, I feel I can do it. I'm not going to lose time, but every lap Malasinski goes around, he is increasing his lead.
I'm sure he doesn't feel like it, but 18 and a half minutes in, he looks as if he's just started this race. He's looking strong.
Domestic events this year, he takes the opportunity at some of these events that he could easily win, and he tries something. He either goes out hard, he can hold it, or he'll wait and see how hard he can go.
Malasinski begins his final lap. The rest just trying to stay in touch as much as possible. Nakazawa right on the back of Nichols' skis. And there's the time difference between the leader and second place. So the battle really is between Nichols and Nakazawa. Nakazawa, not the strongest of jumpers in the individual Gunderson. In fact, Nichols jumped a full 17 meters further. So Nichols will be happy with that. Number 12, also of the USA, Henry Johnston. This is the man they're all trying to catch. And he is trying to build up as much of an advantage as possible from them. If he can get that distance, every minute he can put between them is worth 15 points. 15 points on the ski jumping tonight. And that should be a spectacular sight as well, under the floodlights of the Olympic Ski Jumping Centre here in Salt Lake City. Now, I do apologise, here in Lake Placid. Getting my Olympics confused there. So it's USA first and second. And Nakazawa still holding third place.
Again, that's going to equate to huge bonus meters for the jumping competition. Well, right now,
Grip of the USA, who led in the early stages. Now struggling to keep up, still in fourth. Beginning to look pretty tired. Listening to the fantastic sound of the skis swishing their way over this excellent, perfect snowy surface. We've had several days of solid snow, and the volunteers and track experts have done a great job of making sure this is prepared and of the highest standards. As Takuya Nakazawa, the leading Japanese athlete, approaches us here ahead of the two Americans. Further back is Johnston. So the top 6 places being held by American and Japanese athletes. Rebenyuk of Ukraine is his 6th. Kodate of Japan is in 10th. But this is the man of the moment, Nicholas Malasinski of the USA. And we're about to see if he's grown his lead even more as he's come through this checkpoint. Here's the chasing bunch. So Evan Nichols there just falling back now with the number 4 bib. His older sister first got into Nordic combined and convinced him to have a go, and he hasn't looked back since. Aidan Ripp still looking strong. He's won many national college titles in his sophomore year. He's really impressed. What can he do here? Well, this man has nothing to worry about. This race is his. It's just about how much time he can gain now, how much advantage and how many points he can build going into the ski jumping. So final checkpoint on his final lap, and Malasinski is well ahead. Into the tuck. Carefully does it round the bend at speed, downhill, dropping down into the stadium. He's got a few hundred meters to go now to the finish line. And the separation, 39 seconds between him and his compatriot Rip and Nichols. And then comes Nakazawa. So the battle behind him continues for second and third, but right now Nicholas Malasinski of the USA crosses the finish line and takes the victory in the 10 kilometers mass start, and that puts him in a fantastic position for the ski jumping later today. Here comes second place, again from the USA. Aidan Ritt from Paul Smith's college. Round the corner. And then he accelerates and sprints towards the finish line, gets himself into that middle lane and pushes and pushes. Why? Because he's trying to gain seconds. Every second on those behind him. In third place, here comes the other American, Evan Nichols. And then the best placed Japanese, Takuya Nakazawa. So it's a 1, 2, 3 in this race for the USA, fourth to Japan, and let's see if it's going to be fifth to the USA. No, it's not, because Johnston's been overtaken by Kodate. Sorry, by Kobayashi. Where did he come from? Sakaturo Kobayashi, the gold medalist in the individual Gunderson, crosses the line and has closed a huge gap between himself and the leaders, and that could be crucial when it comes to the ski jump.
Kobayashi making a late run, trying to do a little damage control. He knows that his work is cut out for him on the ski jump anyways, but why make it harder for himself? So it seems like he closed the
pole,
time there.
Andrei Shishchovich ahead of Kazuho Kodate.
He's a minute and 10 seconds down to Malasinski, so that's a big jump.
Kodate's dropped down the field. Disappointing closing stage for him. Right behind him is the best placed Ukrainian, Dmytro Mazurchuk. Then comes another Pole, Pavel Schindler. Confirmation of that result then, the leading four, Malasinski, and so Schindler 43 seconds behind. This is Yamanaka of Japan.
This is going to be Motoki Yamanaka of Japan. Motoki did not start in the other night's cross country race. He looks very.
It's our first look at his performance in cross country at this event. Yamanaka coming in 19th place. Still out on the course, Ziegler of America. The two Kazakhstanis, a Ukrainian, a Pole, and Fadrons of the Czech Republic, who has actually stopped. So whether that was injury for Fadrons of the Czech Republic or whether he got a breakage, I don't know, but he certainly didn't perform at any stage during that race as you would have expected him to. Timothy Ziegler of the USA coming in, 18th place, I believe. We'll have that confirmed in a moment. This is Ali Askar of Kazakhstan, followed closely by Magzan Amanakalduli, his teammate. Youngest competitor about to cross the line. It's all experience, it's all learning for him. Alexander Shumberets of Ukraine, 21 years old, regular top 50 athlete in the Continental Cup circuit. Finished 14th in the individual Gunnarsson, and now comes in 16th place here. Adam Skupian of Poland. Really promising skier, made his senior debut 3 years ago at the age of 17 and make up time and distance in the ski jumping later today. So confirmation that it was USA first, second and third. And what a time difference, back to 5th place over 1 minute and 13 seconds. But Kobayashi, he jumped well in the individual Gundersen. We know he's a strong jumper. Can he make up that gap, though, of 1:13? That's more than 15 points advantage to Malasinski going into the ski jumping. Far, but there are still 3 to come. In fact, we now have 2 Japanese jumpers and 3 American jumpers. And this next guy was the gold medalist in the Gundersen event on Friday. He had a whopping jump of well over 100 meters, and that helped him dominate the competition. He finished the cross-country in 5th place with a very late comeback. How's he going to do here? Oh, what a jump. What a jump from the Japanese Sakutaro Kobayashi. He pumps the air. He knows he's done everything he can. 100.5 meters. The scores from the judges are okay. A couple of 18, 16 and a half. They'll just work out what that average score is. It makes 143 points, and that puts Kobayashi into the gold medal position. Well, that really lays down the gauntlet for the Sakutaro Kobayashi, sitting proud at the top of the leaderboard. Now, Malasinski probably more confident on the cross-country track than on the ski jump, but in the Gundersen, he put in a good jump. Can he do it again? This is Malasinski for gold. It looked like a good jump, not as long as Kobayashi's, but good enough. 89.5. Now we have to wait for the judges' scores, and it hasn't been enough because he's been given some good points from the judges, but it's 119.2, so Nicholas Malasinski will have to settle for the silver. Still a terrific result. He shakes his head a little bit. He looks a little bit disappointed. I think he felt he had gold. But this man here from Japan wins his 2nd gold medal of these games. And now he adds the mass start to the Gundersen. Confirmation of the results. Sakutaro Kobayashi takes the gold with a terrific jump.
First place and champion, representing Japan, Sakutaro Kobayashi.
2 out of 2 for Kobayashi. A gold on Friday in the Gundersen and a gold now in the mass start.
The Lake Placid 2023 FISU World University Games winners.
There are our medalists